Hello, everybody. How you doing? Welcome back to Soul Purpose Leaders. Today, I have an amazing guest for you. And I just want to say, whoever you are, and if this is your first time coming to Soul Purpose Leaders, this is an amazing platform that anyone from anywhere in the world, whatever you're going through or whatever is happening within your life, that you want guidance or you want someone to talk to or someone to listen to you, or you want to hear other people's stories, how they can empower you, this is the right place for you. So today, we have an amazing leader. Her name is Minku Buttar. And she has this quote that she sent it to us. When you realize nothing is lacking, the whole world belongs to you. Ah, that's beautiful. Lao Tzu, he wrote that. And Minku, she is an award-winning transformational facilitator and energy healer for professionals wanting to reclaim joy. I love that. Embrace their awesomeness, sorry, not awareness, awesomeness, to reclaim joy, sorry, embrace their awesomeness and full potential at work and relationships. What's true about you today that would make your 8-year-old self cry? Oh, she asks. Tutelage, I hope I'm saying this right. Tutelage, did I say
Yeah.
that right? Yeah. And the
Yes.
various enlightenment masters showed her that we must work at deep subconscious level to unlearn a lot of conditions, beliefs we pick up while growing up. While growing, if we want to heal from traumas that mar our present brilliance, through thought-provoking partnership, impactful sessions based on her own journey, and various energy modalities. She leads you to a calm space that inspires self-reflection. This is turn breaks down barriers that prohibit you from embracing success and purpose of life with clarity. Walking Waking up each morning to take the day on because a joyful experience. Her mantra, what the caterpillar calls the end, the rest of the world calls butterfly. So dare to show up in your vulnerable, authentic self anyway. Way. This is beautiful. And I am so happy and I'm so blessed to have you today, Minku Buttar. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Barke. It's an honor to be here. And I also thank you for pronouncing my surname so correctly. Most of the people call, instead of Buttar, they call me Butter. And I take it so nice, beautifully in the right spirit. And I say, yeah, I'm melting hearts. Just like the butter. That's okay. It resonates, as long as you don't call me a cinema or a pepper, or I'm okay with butter. Yes, it's so thank you for
Glad
that,
to
and thank you, Bake. Thank you so much for that awesome introduction, and also just the intention. Um, we've connected before, and we've had an awesome, heartful, soulful talk. And thank you. This is a wonderful platform and an initiative. So congratulations.
Well, the pleasure is all mine. This is not for me. This is for the person who needs it the most. That's why I got inspired because of this pandemic, that many people are actually in isolation in themselves, that they need to hear something positive, or they need to hear someone has the same story to them, so they can actually reach out, so they can actually say, me too, and do something about it. It's never too late. So the pleasure is all mine, and I'm so honored for you to be here today, Minku.
Thank
And
you.
you,
Thank you so much.
we had amazing talk, and I cannot wait to actually go deeper in the conversation. So I would like you to just actually start when you are a 7-year-old girl. Tell us about your experience in life.
I came up with that question. I think someone had said something similar a long time ago, and it stuck in me. Now, it's actually 8-year-old. Now, this 8-year-old, if you read about it, it's psychologically confirmed by the psychologist as a very formative year, and that's when we start building a personality, and that's also when we start making relationships. Unfortunately, it's also when our egos, I'm sorry if there's a noise, it's a um, I don't know if you heard it, but that's a fighter plane going right on top of my home.
That's what I wanted to say. Are you on the plane or something?
Oh yeah. I would be sitting not like this, but I would be sitting as if I'm going to the moon. They put all kind of mechanisms on you as if either you're in the ICU or you're going to the moon. So what I realized, that it is so true that the 8-year-olds are really the very, very vulnerable state. You're finding your relationship with others. But as I grew older, and today, if I look back, there is one thing that I have found, which I really, really would like to share with you and your listeners, that in fairy tales, at the end of the adventure, right, because we all grow up with fairy tales, and 8-year-olds, I mean, I still have my book, which I signed when I was, maybe 7 or 8 years old, and it's still one of my most precious books, fairy tales. So what happens is, at the end of every adventure in a fairy tale, they go like, oh, and they lived happily ever after. And it's actually, I now find as an adult, that it's our fixation with the happy ending in the end that confuses our psyche.
Mm,
Okay. uh, in and during our ongoing journeys is where the happiness lives. It's not in the end as we grow up feeling, and the joy needs to sit in everything that we do, however challenging. So in every moment, Barke, I feel the watchfulness, and then the mindfulness, the experiences we have must be embraced, and we forget to pause. Why is the world full of depression and anxiety? The pauses. We are in such a big rush from an 8-year-old to rush to where we are now. We forget to pause. And if someone tells us that be mindful, I don't know how many parents are aware to teach that to a 8-year-old and say, come on, let's sit down and do a little bit of meditation. I'm telling you, 8-year-olds, you can actually get them to do most things. After that, soon in another few years, the hard teens are going to come up, and it's gone forever. So if we are lucky, Barke, to pause and we are lucky enough to have moments in life when we sat and we reflected long enough, then I think at the end of life, what I realize, it's not what I bought, it's not what I built, it's not what I have, but what we shared with others as our journey went on. And it's not even our competence, it's not our skills, but our character.
mm,
What did we put inside this beautiful journey? And it's not this is something I love, Barke. It's not our success, it's our significance.
yeah.
So yeah, to just live a life of love is what I would say to my 8-year-old.
That's amazing because it's so true what you're saying. Because end of the day, I grew up as well thinking of there's a happy ending, and thinking and always looking for that destination, the end of the line. And even like when I came to United Kingdom, and all you hear, you need to work hard, you need to ensure you build that life, because at the end of your retirement, that is the happy ending. But then guess what? That and then death you're waiting for. That's it. So how can that be?
Yes.
That's not it. There must be more. So when you
Yes, and the more is in those moments,
exactly, but
in the
people
birth and the death.
yes, but people they don't realize that. So for me, even I will start doing it. I was actually working so hard, ensuring
Mm,
myself the destination, the happy ending that I want to build. So what happened is that I exhaust myself because of that idea that I had of
yes,
happy ending.
yes,
Now,
yes.
let's go back to the topic. So today, we actually need to realize in ourselves the what is this joy that we want in life, or the happiness that we want in life. I used to always crave it, that I want the happiness, but I didn't know how that happiness was at the time. So please tell us, Minku, because I know you are like the doctor of joy. So please tell us, what is that joy that people are craving, and where they can actually look for it?
So I have a very interesting story to tell you. So when one day I was sitting and I said, yes, my purpose in life, and just to take you a little back, I've been a successful fashion designer with my own label here in India. And in spite of that, I felt like there is something missing and I need to connect the dots better. And then one day I'm sitting and I'm thinking like, how can I help? My purpose I know is to help others. I thrive. And some days, I can work 17, 18 hours a day, and I know it's not the healthiest, but I get so consumed by creating, the power and the content with what I want to bring to make changes in people. So I was thinking, how can I do this? There has to be a path, like you have, be your own hero, and it's beautiful what you're doing, uplifting women out there. So I said, what is that one ingredient that's missing? So I, can be very adventurous, and I can throw caution to the wind and sometimes say, how am I going to do that? I was sitting back here one day and I thought, joy. Joy and happiness, like you said, is the missing ingredient in the recipe of life. And you can put in as much as you want. It's not like putting curry powder or spices. It's never going to give you indigestion. As much of joy is good. And so I said, let's do this playfully. We
Mm.
take life too seriously. And I said, let's do this in a playful fashion. So I did an experiment. I said to myself, and a lot of my friends know this, I said, I'm going to talk to 100 people randomly in the street, in the coffee shops, and ask them, have you seen joy? What does it look like? And you will not believe the kind of answers. I had expressions where they were stuck and they were stunned. A lot of them, a few of them turned around and walked away because I think in the Indian culture, no one approaches anyone randomly, and I was doing
Oh.
something like that. And I had I had others who just said to me, they said, you know what, this is so beautiful, who are you and why do you ask this? And we started beautiful conversations, and some of them left the conversation saying thank you for starting us on a journey of finding joy and thinking about it. I also did a little bit of research, and I found that what is that one shape, and this is really informative, that gives maximum joy to people. Do you know what that is, Bake?
No, I need you to tell
It's
me.
it's it's everything circular. Anything, you know, if you look at confetti, a
Hmm.
small piece of, actually it's a confetta, and if you look at even the smallest piece, it starts and then you put a lot of, it becomes confetti from
Ah.
confetti. And then if you look at dots,
Mm.
polka dots are suppose, you know, if you have a very depressing day, and if you wear polka dots, it can brighten your day. Or if you have a segment in the house where you put a wallpaper with round, anything round, like bubbles. What about,
Mm.
you know, the bubbles that children so I
Yeah.
think it's the circular round dots more than the angular jagged ends that bring a lot of joy. So then I said, okay, there you go. I'm going to name my program that I do with my clients, with people who want to have you know, a joy, to be in a joyful space. So I call my program Barke Joyfulness Code. It's a code,
Yeah.
and I have constructed 4 E's where
Mm.
I um, try to integrate principle of change,
Yeah.
you know, with learning, with adult learning to accelerate progress. And I want these changes not to be temporary in people's mindsets and psyche. I'm looking at creating permanent change so that joy is a permanent space in their heads. And the day Barke, they drop that idea of not being good enough, as you know, we are consumed by that. Then I think they all, I see that happiness, and they look like what I would call, you know, there's a English saying in your country, like the cat who ate the canary. So they all look so smug and happy, like we got this, you know, and it's joyful for me. So that's what I do, you know. Yeah.
It's an amazing thing because, like I said, people out there, they're going through a lot of turmoil,
Lot.
either from their
Yes.
childhood or their adulthood. And most of the time, we when I was in that situation myself, I thought I was the only one. And I thought that was my problem. And I thought that I needed to deal with it, but I didn't know how to deal with it in a positive way. Now, until one day, as the person I am, just asking question and asking question to the universe, and I got my answer. But for some, they don't have that. Now, tell us about how can a person, even though you already told us about the round shape that will also help, that is one of the advice, but what can a person do or start with in themselves that actually they're going through that way of thinking, I'm not good enough, I don't look beautiful, I'm not amazing, I'm unlovable, I'm not
Yeah.
worthy. What is the
Yes.
first thing they can do
Absolutely.
to break that?
Hmm. Yeah, Barke, that's a really good question. And I think it is an inspiring question which gets people to think. Now, what comes to my mind, have you heard of Tony Robbins' Firewalk? Have
Yes.
you? Yes. So apparently, you know, whether it's Oprah Winfrey or anyone, apparently people get cured. And someone even has said that he had insomnia, and, you know, he walked barefoot on burning coals, um, depression, toxic relationships, everything gets cured. And I just say, like, you know what? To understand the positivity is joy, but to understand that you have another facet of life, you don't have to walk on coal to realize. life is going to throw you so many curveballs, so much in life. And then you don't need any fireworks, really. But every experience, okay, is a powerful experience, Barke. And we need so much of inner strength
Mm.
to do this. So I would say that every blister and every scar on your soul, if you can embrace it, start with that. Start with being comfortable in your own skin. Start with not chasing the past and the
Mm.
demons, and just say, in the power of the now, as my ever favorite Eckhart Tolle says, is the happiness, is the joy. But mind you, Bake, as we all know, we have to make peace with the past. We must. I see this. I see people burnt out at work. They're not able to hold, especially now, not able to hold relationships at work, at home. Um, there's emotional baggage, like forgiveness has to come in. Then you have to tackle fears, and we grow up with conditioned beliefs. All this leads to our mental state of not very balanced well-being. And this is what I start with. So embrace who you are,
Mm.
where you are in life. And from there, once you have dropped your baggage, and you are in a space where you can start thinking, yes, the other end of the spectrum is joy. So you drop this, and I wouldn't call it negative.
Mm.
Anything that has been a part of your experience is a beautiful learning. It's an enriching. So you look at your scars in your wounds, and you might be bleeding, but you just say, I'm going to heal this. I'm going to forgive. I'm going to surrender. I'm going to love. I'm going to be in joy. And once you send that intention out, Bake, I think you're good. You've started your journey. And then, of course, people like you and me, we're always there to hold hand. I've put in the structure, a joyfulness code. And I love it when this lady who's in her 50s, one of my clients, in July, I finished a 4-week course, because this is a 4-week course. And I have her testimony, and she so beautifully said, Barke, she says 32 years she has spent thousands of dollars and met so many gurus and spiritual mentors. And what we did in 4 weeks of joyfulness code was
Mm.
equivalent to her 32 years of work on herself.
That's
So I think,
remarkable.
yeah,
That's
there
amazing.
is, I love it. It's so gratifying. So
Yeah.
yeah, Barke. So that's where you start your journey of joy.
It's so true because at the time when I was going through all of those things, because you've been, as I was being told over and over, you're not good enough, over and over, you're not worth it, you're this, you're that.
Mm,
But what happened is that because I started hating my body, I started hating me, that I wanted to hurt me, because I was like, if this is the problem, let's take it out. But then
oh,
because of my religion and because of my beliefs, that I didn't believe in killing myself, or I didn't believe in self-harming in going further than that. I stopped and I asked the question, if this is the case for me, okay, because end of the day, when I looked deep and I asked myself, when the lights are off, or when there's no one around, who is there with me? No one. It's just me.
yeah,
So why am
yes,
I wanting to destroy this being that is with me? Why?
yes,
What would I have
absolutely.
left? Nothing. So then what you're
So
saying,
beautiful.
because when that
Yeah.
mind shift happens and say, rather
Mm,
than destroying, actually less loving this being that I've got, this body
yeah,
that I have,
yeah,
this mind that I have, and you can feel the difference. So it's true,
yes.
Minku. And thank you for that, because it just reminded me of myself, and I am appreciating you. Now,
Thank you. Thank you, Barke.
you're welcome. And also, I wanted to say, you are a remarkable woman. You've done so many things. And I appreciate you so much. And for people here to
Thank you.
see you and to hear you today, it's also part of that gift. Now, you've gone through yourself some difficulties in your life.
Hmm.
Now,
Hmm.
and for you to be here today, for you to actually making this difference, would you be able to share with us some of those some of those hardship that you went through, for us to actually know that Minku is not this Minku you see today, but actually this amazing woman that went through difficulties, and this is what the
Yeah.
result of the butterfly she is today.
Barke, thank you so much for going back to the roots. And I know that a lot of people around me see this gregarious, someone who's out there. I'm always, joking and picking up spirits wherever I go. And I don't say that out of vanity. It's just I also feel that Minku Buttar has no onion skins. So what you see is what you get. And that's why people and my clients who are comfortable, they know I have their back, then I have their back, and I will make sure and ensure I get them where they need to be. uh, Also, there is a saying that the diamond, has to be, before it becomes a diamond, the coal has to go under all that, pressures of earth. Also in India, gold is so huge. And we always say that the jeweler must dip it into the fire to mold it. So I feel people who claim that they've had a wonderful life. I think, and I apologies to anyone who listens to this, but I think either you're delusionally sweeping everything under the carpet, because I like to call a spade, and or you've decided that in this lifetime you're not going to handle those issues. I'll come back another time and do it. But if you really, really, I feel hell, heaven, whatever people try to put it as, it's really is here in the now. We don't know what happened before. I know that people say you carry your DNA and your traumas in your DNA, but I think you have been born a human being. You're not an animal. You're not a creepy crawly that someone can use this lifetime. And in my experience, that acknowledgement that I wanted to resolve and drop things, Barke, is my journey of who I am now. I had amazing amount of depression in my, in around me, and I have just about started talking about it. And so thank you for allowing my soul to be expressing this verbally, uh, and inspiring others that you will always have challenges in life. I had the depression around me, and I had to stay as the solid, I would say, the stable pillar for my family. I lost my mother and my sister very early in life. And I went through a divorce. I came back to India, where all of a sudden I was overseas. I could not relate to a lot of people. So I think it has been quite a challenging journey, with any which way. The one thing I said to myself is I will not take any clinical help and fall into a depression myself. And I would just sit and meditate. And this is my message out there, is embrace what your body is going through. And that's what, even Jacques Kabat-Zinn, the mindfulness master, that's what I've learned with my certifications and all the courses I've done, is that we have to unlearn. This is what my journey has been. You have to unlearn our judgments of other people and ourselves. Stop being harsh on others. Stop being harsh on yourself, because everyone's a mirror image. And the dignity is your birthright. So reclaim your dignity as a human being. And also, I think, just being more loving, empathy towards yourself, you radiate that outside. So I feel like if I have done it and I have walked the talk, anyone can do it. It's just a matter of being in that moment. And if you need to take a day off, Barke, you want to just get under the covers and sleep for the day, let no one tell you you can't do that. You need to know what your soul needs, and the society tries to get you to subscribe to an idea of you. You know, they don't allow you to be you. So I think you have to think of what's important, what's your goal in life, what's your priorities, and focus on that. And one step at a time, I promise you, you will reach there. And when you start, Barke, helping others,
Mm.
you move from the I-ness to the we-ness. You stop being a consumer, you become a contributor. Then you can look
Exactly.
beyond your wounds. Yeah. So thank you
Yeah.
for allowing me to share that. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you so much for sharing it, and for actually our listeners, because they hear this and they get empowered by this. But most important things is that we are all human. We have,
Mhm.
all of us have a burden, or have a responsibility, or have some challenges in our lives, but it's how we carry that challenge, how we react to that challenge, and how we deal with that challenge. So it's everyone who says, or how they do it, or what they do, or how they can overcome it, for you to get the idea and say, you know what, this will work for me, or that will work for me. Minku, you are an amazing woman, and thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
vulnerable here, because this is what makes
Yes.
us human. This is what shares with us to say, yes, it happens to me too. Okay. And yes, coming
Yes.
from caterpillar to beautiful butterfly, it didn't just happen. You know what I mean? There is
Yeah.
ways and how I made it happen to where you are right now, and to actually share that to the world. It is true. The most rewarding thing is when you share your message, or when you share your
Yes.
authenticity to the world and say, yes, you can too. And yes, I believe
Yes.
in you. Because nobody told me
Yes.
that before, but now I'm telling other
Mm.
people, I believe in you. And I believe that you can be
Yes.
better than what you think for yourself. And yes, you can. So thank you so
Always,
much.
always. Yes. And Barke, I will never forget your beautiful contribution to my podcast. And as you know, I do this joyful contrast of a message, a word that I pick up from the English literature. And I've done 5 podcasts, and it's available on my YouTube channel under my name, Minku Buttar. And you had a wonderful contribution on the word Zafti. And Zafti means you allow the world to walk all over you, and you can be a carpet. You allow yourself to be a carpet. And I loved your message. And thank you. That was very well received by all my listeners. And I have to tell you that you are going to be on national radio in India, because they have chosen to have my podcast as part of a program early morning. So all my 10 episodes, well, 5 and then another 5. So you're going to be on Indian National Radio. So
Oh, wow.
congratulations.
Thank you. I didn't know that would happen, but okay. Why
I
not?
only knew yesterday. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow. This is amazing. So thank you for that, for giving me that space and share to the world. And
Yes,
I just want
you're
to
welcome.
actually ask you, what are you actually working on at the moment?
Right, right. So I have actually taken up a role of, there's a very new um, entity and an institution called Wiki, which is the Women Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. It's first of its kind for women, and I am the state president for my state for lifestyle and fitness. So we are like 17 council members with me, and we came together and said, what can we do? What is the need in the community and society? And we realized, Barke, it's the youth. The youth is they are our future. They are our pillars. They are the visionaries. But it's so sad that they are hurting because they are choked for communication, and of course the stigma. So unfortunately, Barke, I just got to know that India is right now the highest in the world for suicides. Yeah, I just heard that, and this is sad. So we said, how can we help these? We are focusing on the what we call the older adolescents, 18 to 25, undergrads, and we are trying to create a platform where it's an online platform. We call it the Dialogues Cafe. So it's a place where they can come in every fortnight. They can connect with their peers. They can have meaningful conversation, talk about humanity and universalism, and their pain points, their success stories. And we will have people from all over the world to come and give them motivational talks. And I just want the safe, non-judgmental, maybe if they want to stay anonymous, they can, but just be.
Mm.
You know, the problem is we try to become.
Yes.
No, but if you're just being, I think this is what the youth needs. So we're going to kickstart with that in October, and we have a lovely launch coming up. So that is my project under Wiki. Uh, and I'm really looking
How'd you
forward to it
spell
because
that?
I think we can. So it's WICCI, and you can look it up as WICCI.in. In fact, you know, it would be fabulous for sisters. We call ourselves sisters in sisterhood. And if more sisters, and I know that you have a chapter, Barke, in the UK, and more people can join because we are already in 39 countries.
Wow.
Wiki is in 39 countries, and you can choose to be a leader, a visionary, and you can lead your own projects. And that's what I've decided to do, is to work with youth. So I actually welcome, because it's an honorary position. There is nothing to be gained except gratification for having contributed to the universe.
Oh,
So it's
wow,
beautiful.
that's amazing. And what you're doing is
Mhm.
actually needed. And oh my goodness, it's so sad to hear that the
Mhm.
suicide rate is up in India, because
Yeah.
I'm I get so upset and to hear people
Mhm.
having suicide. I get really like sad, because end of the day we're all going to die, and suicide is just rushing, the
Yeah.
end
Yeah.
thing. So
Yeah.
it's just,
Yeah.
please, there's other ways we can do rather than just see that as a like end results, and it shouldn't be like that. So
Absolutely.
I am so
Yes.
happy that
Yes,
you're doing this.
Barke, I always say, and when I have a conversation, because I have some young ambassadors who are students, so that's a subgroup, and I always say, you know, sometimes you can quit for the day, not
Mm,
for the life.
yes,
And when you quit today, you come back stronger tomorrow.
exactly. I
Right?
call it
Take a break.
parking on the hard shoulder. And
Uh-huh.
because we are always on race, we're always rushing, or we're always on a highway or motorway, and when it's too much, just park on the hard shoulder and take a breath, just relax, get yourself ready for the next round. You know what I mean? It's just and that's what you're doing. It's what's needed. And I
Yes.
hope
Can you, yeah, it's like, can you make friends with your misery?
that's true.
It's it's powerful. Can you? And sometimes when I say that to the youngsters and they look at me like, what? And I said, can you make friends with your misery? And then it gets them thinking, Bake.
Mm,
yeah, okay, I see where you're going with this. And
mm,
then I say, you have it, you got this, you got this, you know? So
mm.
I think it's the way we communicate and it's the way we inspire and uplift the youth.
It is.
And that's the attempt. Yeah.
Yeah, the youth are our future presidents and
Yeah.
our future leaders. We have to
Mhm.
look after them. This is why it's so important what we have to fight, or we have to, and I'm not talking about fist fighting or violence. I'm talking about in making a difference in people's lives and say yes to the youth, teaching them the right way, guidance for them to actually say, you can make your dreams come true. You can actually do great things in this life and not just be seen as a bad thing or bad person in the
Mhm.
community.
Mhm.
This is needs to change. So I'm so glad, Minku, what you're doing. Oh my goodness, 100% yes.
Thank you. Thank you for the validation. I think it's time that we made human connections.
Hmm.
It's the most important thing right now is how to make human connections more than anything else and restore our dignity, and really to just to restore humanity, because if our actions can be heart centered and not head centered, I
Mm,
think maybe there is solutions to all the angst and the toxicness that is happening. It's also a beautiful time because a lot of purging is happening. A lot of things that were hidden in the universe, like politically and scandals, sacrifices are being made because issues are being exposed. But I think maybe in the end, I would say a collective consciousness towards nurturing a common humanity.
true.
I think that's the need. Yeah.
It is, and it's really, truly needed. Minku, how do we get in touch with you?
Oh, okay. So, I'm very happy to hear from people. I'm there on LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn. I go in there 2, 3 times to check, and contribute to communications with, everyone. Um, I'm like a sponge. I love to hear stories. I would love to know who you are, what you do, what's your story, and you remember our conversation first time was who's Barke, and how did you arrive at the present Barke? And also, I would say my LinkedIn is a great way to get in touch with me, and you could also reach me on my Facebook. But I think, yeah. YouTube, you could even leave me a message there. Email ID is info.thecircleofjoy@gmail.com. I mean, that is what my platform is called, thecircleofjoy.com. So if you look me up, I think LinkedIn probably is the best way. And I do get spelled with a single N and a double N, and I need to get that standardized because this is what I need to do. But I am single N on LinkedIn, and that's still me. So this is a, a loving message to all listeners out there, Barke, that you bring this message. I would love to connect with you. Let's exchange stories. And if there's any way I can help you on your journey to drop your baggages, to find joy again, I am there to help you. Thank
Thank
you,
you so much.
Barke.
Thank you so much. And that is Minku Buttar. So just look for her in LinkedIn, Facebook, but also send her email as a really to get in touch with her. And Minku, I would like to hear if you've got a message to even one person out there who really needs to hear it. Um, what would that message be to the world?
I think, Barke, right now, what sometimes stands between us embracing joy and not is tackling your ego sometimes. you have to just drop your ego. And by ego, I don't mean the positive, the one that makes you do things and that describes and defines you, which is your identity. I mean, just drop your toxicness and resistance that we are carrying with us, thinking sometimes that we know it all, we are okay, but if we can really do an inventory of your values in life again.
Yeah.
I think that's very important. What's your vision? Reevaluate your purpose in life, so that you start connecting with the right people and your life becomes non toxic, because joy is where you need to be. Your vibration, it's your birthright. And I think that brings you back to your natural vibration.
Wow, that is amazing message to the world, and that is needed. So thank you so much,
Thank you.
Minku. I do appreciate you so much. And is there anything
Thank you.
else you would like to share before we close for today?
Barke, I'm just so honored. I'm so grateful. I'm always in gratitude when I always say that you take one step and the universe takes 99 towards you. And literally, Barke, this synergy today and this conversation is really, really the need. Is gratifying my soul, and thank you for being a part of that. So I'm in deep gratitude and much, much love to everyone out there in the universe.
Thank you so much, Minku. And for everybody else, this is Minku Buttar, and she is one of our leaders, one of our leading ladies that they're doing amazing thing in this world. So get in touch with her today and making sure that you can make a difference in your own life. I wish you all the best until the next guest. Take care, everybody.
Thank you, Bake. See you soon. Thank you, and have a good day. Bye bye.
You, Minku.